After failing in its initial blitzkrieg against Kiev last year, Putin and his circle have planned for a long war, and they're taking decisions accordingly. They keep most of their maximalist objectives. That is, not only the conquest and occupation of Donbass, not only the conquest and occupation of at least 4 Ukrainian provinces, but most of Ukraine if they can. If not in 2023, in 2024 or 2025. So this is an existential war not just for Ukraine, but for Europe as a whole. There will not be security in Europe if Russia is allowed to prevail one way or the other in Ukraine. There will not be peace if Russia is allowed to keep around a fifth of Ukraine, and with between 250,000 and maybe over time in the next few months, 500,000 Russian soldiers in Ukraine. Not to mention the fate of Ukrainian civilians in Russian occupied areas, of which the deportation of thousands of Ukrainian children is but one of the horrible examples of things that are going on. So, the EU has done a lot, but we have to do more. We have to step up, and we have to defeat Putin's notion of victory. Now, how can we do that? I'm going to lay out just 4 grand policy proposals. Firstly, we have to ramp up defense industry production. Collectively, the EU, the UK, Canada, and the US are 22 times the GDP of Russia. But as we speak, Russia is producing around 200 tanks, and that's 8 times what the EU is producing right now. And also this war has showed the very worrying limits of our defense stocks. So we have to ramp up defense industry production. And maybe one way to do that is to allow the EU to play a role similar to that which it played during the pandemic. For instance, through the joint procurement of ammunition, tanks, and other military equipment. We have to advance towards economies of scale. Secondly, we have to strengthen the mechanisms that are being used now to support Ukraine. That is the European Peace Facility, and others are already talking about creating a separate fund for military assistance to Ukraine. We have also to increase our accountability mechanisms. There will not be peace if there's no justice. And for that, it is important that we consider options such as the special tribunal for the crime of aggression. And lastly, we have to do way more to curb sanction evasion. As an example, around 82% of the Iranian drones that the Ukrainians downed last fall had chips and semiconductors from US companies. Or put differently, we have to do way more to degrade Russia's economy and its military machine.